just press very lightly on the fingertips, right? So the fingertips, you might have, if your hips are tighter, your knees will be a little higher. Absolutely put something underneath the legs. Use the hands to push down so the hips can stay anchored, but the torso, the rib cage can lift. Good. And invite the brain to drift back. Beautiful. So the brain drifting back, beginning to just align the brain with the rest of the spine and the nervous system, the ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Good. See if you can invite just an awareness of the natural curvature of your backbone. So subtle arch or extension of the lumbar spine, a subtle rounding of the thoracic spine, so inviting the breath to move into the upper back between the shoulder blades, behind the heart. And then the extension of the neck, this is the tough one, right? Because with all the technology and devices and stuff now, there's this tendency for the head to pull forward or down, and so the neck is chronically overstretched. So we want to release the tension in the neck by bringing the head and the brain back. Beautiful. Let the gaze fall off the tip of the nose, or just close your eyes. Good. Feel into the ground of your seat. Take a deep breath in. Beautiful. Exhale. Bring the hands together in Namaskar at the heart. Just take a moment as you take your seat to look in upon the heart. And just bring this quality, this heart energy to the space of your practice this morning. The morning, the opening sort of offerings or incantations in practice are often an invitation to really turn in and look at oneself, self-reflection. And then the closing incantation or the closing offering is always about, can we extend this energy that we're cultivating within ourselves, this center, this grounding within ourselves? Can we hold that space for ourselves while we extend ourselves into the world? So it's just a way of really staying grounded in our own nervous systems, if you will, while we also attend to and manage, right, all those nervous systems around us, right? And then just the energy in the world around us. How can we bring that out into the world? We have to start by really centering in. So release the hands back to your lap. Take a deep breath in. With the exhalation, bow the chin towards the chest. Keep the chest rising to meet the chin. Right ear to right shoulder. Little half moon circles, releasing the neck, chin to chest. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And we'll do this a few times, just with your breath. I usually breathe into the stretch. So inhale, transition. Breath arising, chest lifting. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. William James, American psychologist, said, breathing in, that if there's no tension in the body, there's no stress. I kind of like that idea. As you start to release the tension from the body, you're also releasing just the weight of the stuff that you carry, if only for moments at a time. Good. So just make sure you do an even number of rolls. Good. Breathing in, chin to chest. Exhale, navel to spine. Lift the heart. Take the arms out to the sides. Good. And we're just going to take that left arm, spin the palm face up towards the sky. So thumb up and back. External rotation. Good. Try to hold the integrity of the arm. Good. In the shoulder girdle. And then take the arm up alongside the temple. And see if you can create a little bit of visual or mental space between the upper arm, inner upper arm, and the temple, right? So think of widening through the collarbone, lifting, extending, and creating some space. Walk that right hand out and lean over to your left. So we're not going to go super far to start with, just finding that traction through the left side of your body. Look up and underneath that top arm. You can also turn the chin towards the right shoulder. Make sure the right shoulder isn't popping forward. And look down behind that right shoulder. Beautiful. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, release. Other side. Left arm extends. Spin the thumb up and back. And again, see if you can hollow the armpit and just kind of integrate the arm. So you're not squeezing the shoulder blade. You're not compressing the collarbone, right? There's a broadening of that right side. And now extend and lift. See if you can keep pulling up on the elbow. Good, but keeping some space between the inner upper arm and the temple as you lean over to the other side. I'm keeping my right sitting bone on the floor here as I lean over to the left. Good. And again, you can look down and behind that left shoulder. Notice the sensations that show up in your body. Chin to the chest. You can look up underneath that top arm or up towards the hand. Breathe in. Breathe out. Just get a little side stretch, opening the right side of the rib cage, the right lung. Good. And release that right arm down. Beautiful. Let's take a twist over to the right side. Rolling the belly. Relax and soften that left shoulder. Inhale, center, and over to the other side. Just kind of waking up the spine, looking over that left shoulder. Breathe in. Breathe out. Beautiful. Come back to center. Walking the hands forward. And again, right? You want to, I like a little bit of height, that always supports the pelvis. You want to try to tip the pelvis forward so you're just in front of the sits bones, pressing down through the outer heels, and then hinge from the hips, tipping the pelvis forward, keeping the chest upright. So working with your chair, nice option here. Breathing in. Good. Breathing out. If you have a little bit more movement in the hips without compromising, right, without sinking and collapsing the chest, go for it. You're just going to start to feel a little bit of a stretch. Usually for me, it's around the outer hips. Some of you might feel it more around the sacrum. So we're going to take a couple of breaths, observing the breath arising. And as you exhale, draw the navel back into the body. Activate the abdomen. Good. Retract the ribs a little bit. This will support the release in the back. One more time. My gaze is expanded, soft, panoramic. Good. As I really focus the inner attention, right? The inner gaze. Antaradrashti is the looking inside. Activating the abdomen as you exhale. Gently walk the hands back in. Good. We're going to take the hands behind us this time. Good. And just step the feet flat to the floor, about hip distance apart. My fingers are pointing forward. If it's too much for the wrists, just turn the hands out a little bit. Good. Draw those elbows in just enough to get the stretch across the front of the chest. We're not pulling on the shoulders and popping the rib cage, right? We're just kind of holding that sense of ground for the hips through the feet, ground for the shoulders through the hands, and then reverse table pose. You can slide your hips a little bit closer to your heels and lift. Good. Just brings a little bit of power into the arms. See if you can press into those heels. Lift from the sacrum, from the center back of the pelvis, of the hips. Take it from the base of the spine. Take a deep breath in. Good. Power those arms. Drop the rib cage so you're not pulling into the back. Good. We're just waking up arms and legs, hands and feet. Gently lower down. Inhale. Good. And exhale to come back up to an upright position. Good. I'm going to turn the fingers pointing in again. Again, you have the option of maybe taking the hands out behind you. Here, taking a deep breath in, lift the heart. Bring the navel. And now draw the lower ribs into the body. Like exaggerate that, tipping the pelvis back so you're just behind the sits bones. Good, just behind, right? Or on the sacrum. And then if you want to, you can extend the legs or just lift the feet away from the floor. Right, so we're working a little bit on waking up the abdomen. Breathe in. Again, if you have your chair handy, just put the heels on the chair. That works as well. So I'm using the hands more for balance than anything else. One more deep breath in. Good. Exhale, hug the thighs to the chest, squeeze. Good. And then if you want to, take a little extension, just kind of stretching out the legs, shaking out the knees a little bit, circling out the ankles. And then let's cross the left leg in front of right. Good. Other side. Hands can come to the thighs, they can come to the earth. Lift the heart. Again, finding that length through the side body. Good. And this time we're going to gaze over that right shoulder. Look to the far right. Maybe the eyes can look out of the corner. Good. Over and behind that back shoulder, that right shoulder. So we get some ocular action as well. Back to center. Inhale. Gaze to the far left. Broaden that right collarbone. And now gaze out of that left corner of the left eye. Good. Breathing in. Breathing out, come back to center one more time each side. So we're going to turn the head first. Now use the eyes. So we're trying to create almost like a 180. Come back to center. Relax the eyes. Exhale, look over the left shoulder. Watch that right one. Look out the corner and behind that left shoulder. Relax the eyes, bring the head back to center. Really nice. Take those arms out to the sides. Again, see if you can hollow the armpit, right? Broaden the collarbones, broaden the shoulder blades, but plug the arms into the shoulder girdle. Good, so there's a sense of lift integration, little circles, tiny little circles. Just mobilizing the shoulder joint. It's a joint. Good. Again, it's designed for mobility, right? So it tends to be way more unstable than for example, the hip joint, which is ball and socket, right? Good, and reverse the roll. So small circles, see if you can keep the arms maybe a little bit below the horizontal. Nice. Deep breath in, keep breathing. Good, exhale. And then a little wrist action, so flexing one wrist, dorsiflexing one, extend plantar flexing the other. Good. Or extension and flexion, and just alternate. Good. Extend out through the heel of the hand. Nice. One more time. Good. Exhale. And then the last one, extend, soften the wrists here, curl the fingers into a loose fist, and just circle out the wrists. And you can bring the arms down a little bit as you do this. Just circling out the wrists. See if you can just get the wrist action and reverse the roll. Beautiful. Notice just any tension in the forearms. This gets into all the fine motor fine motor muscles, right? Required for the fine motor skills, writing, for example. I mean, even typing to some degree. Good. And then very gently release. Really nice. Whew. Relax the arms a little bit here. Good. This time we're going to tip all the way over onto that left sitting or that left hip. Take the left hand to the floor. Good. And then slowly begin to release that right hip. So we get a little bit more traction here through that right side, top side of the body. Right arm can extend alongside the temple to feel a little bit more traction. You can also just take the hand to shoulder and then draw the elbow in towards the head. Trying to keep the elbow pointing down towards the face, rolling in towards the face. That's to protect the shoulder joint so there's no impingement. And then again, feel free to lower maybe the elbow to the floor. Breathe into the side stretch. We're getting into the psoas a little bit here. Exhale. Keep the attention turned in, navel to spine. Extend that lower arm. Release the top arm. Come back up to an upright position. Woo! Switch sides. So again, tipping to that right hip. Breathing in. I'm just taking the weight into the right hand. Extend that left arm if you'd like to. You don't have to. And then just start to release both the elbow towards the floor to soften the shoulder. And then can that left sitting bone, I don't even need the arm overhead to feel the traction through my left side. Good. My left hip is not quite on the floor, but I'm going to start to lower my elbow and just kind of let the head feel heavy too. Good. Releasing that left side. Take a deep breath in. Right? The idea is not to create more tension in the body by pushing too far, by trying too hard, or by striving or straining, right? But by trying to soften and release the tension in the body. Good. And as we soften the tension, we release some of the weight of the stress that we carry. Breathing in, exhale. What can we let go of with the exhalation of the breath? Let's take one more deep breath in. Press into that lower arm. Weight that left hip to the earth. Reach with that top arm. Beautiful. Can you release some of the tension that's held in the myofascial tissue, the fascial tissues of the body? Good. It's going to feel like a sort of a dull stretch ache. And then gently release. Inhale your way back up to an upright position. Just take a moment to ground. Nice. Again, taking in nice little twists. So here, Let's step that right foot to the floor. Take the right arm to the inside of the right leg. So the right foot's kind of lined up with the right hip. It's just in front of that left ankle. I'm just going to hold on to the ankle or the foot. So I'm going to brace the arm and the leg are going to press against one another. My left hand comes behind me, inhale to lift, and I turn away from that front leg. Try not to move the hips. We're going to twist from the waist. So the torso is rolling, right? We're using the oblique muscles to find that rotation. Make sure you're not popping the rib cage. Drop the ribs so you can really get into the abdominal muscles. It's a little counterintuitive. Sometimes we want to kind of pull into the back. You're going to not be able to twist effectively unless you draw into the abdomen. And then look over that left shoulder. Breathe in. Beautiful. Exhale. And come back to center. Good. We're going to switch sides. So step that left foot flat and just tuck that right foot in behind that left ankle. Good. Now take the left arm to the inside of the knee, brace arm and knee. One's going to press against the other. Right hand behind you, inhale to lift. Draw the lower ribs into the body to find that rotation. You can even lean into the twist a little bit if you want to, and then let that left hip sink towards the floor to get the stretch in the left side of your back. Draw the rib cage into the body and rotate to the right this time. Make sure that left foot is flat on the floor. One more deep breath in. Breathe into the back. Good. Whichever one feels more appropriate to you. I love the back stretches. Good. Exhale. Come back to center. Good. And we're going to cross that right leg back in front of the left leg and just come into that forward bend with the other leg in front this time. Right? So last time I used the chair. So feel free to use a block if you need to, right? But you want to kind of keep the heart lifting as you tip the pelvis forward. There's usually sort of a finite place, right? It might be here where we kind of pause and we feel the hips, right? At which point maybe if you bring the elbows to the thighs above the knee, not on the knee. Good. And then draw the navel, draw the rib cage into the body, really contract the abdomen. You might be able to release a little further, right? If you have a little bit more extension, you might be a little further out. Same thing, breathe in. Draw the navel up and into the body. Good. Draw the rib cage into the body. Good. And that helps too when you actively, consciously engage the abdomen. So you have to do it consciously here. We're not using gravity to bring tension to the abdomen. Consciously cinching the waist and contracting the abdominals. This is what helps to support the stretch in the back. Breathe in, one more deep breath in. Walk and soften, walk and release with the exhalation of the breath. Draw the abdomen towards the spine and then inhale. Let's extend and walk the hands back in. Good. Exhale. Step the feet flat to the floor by hip distance apart. Take the hands behind you. Again, you can turn the hands out a little bit. We're going to take another reverse table pose. Good. This time we're going to go up and down. So start by bringing your hips closer to your heels. Good. Shoulders the arms are internally rotated, right? But you don't want to push through the rotator cuff. So just kind of dial the shoulders back a little bit, but not so much that you're popping the rib cage. Right? Broaden the collarbones, root through the hands, take the hips towards your heels, breathe in. Good, draw the navel to the spine, and then root through the heels and lift your hips, extend those arms. Inhale, press up through the back of the pelvis. Exhale, we're going to go down. Good, breathing in, exhale up. Inhale, bend those elbows, flex the knees. Root through the heels of the feet, root through the hands. Exhale 2 more times, just working the back of the upper arm, triceps. It's sort of like a tricep dip for anyone who does, I don't know, goes to the gym, weightlifts. Good, and one more time, hold, take a breath. And exhale, gently release. Really nice. Inhale, back up to an upright position. Good, let's cross the legs. Come forward onto hands and knees, or just scooch the legs to one side. Good. And roll up. So root through the hands, root through the knees. If you would like to, you put the forearms on the chair or take the forearms to the floor. And we're just going to do a little cat-cow to begin with. So breathing in, see if you can find neutral spine, right? Which means tipping the pelvis forward a little bit. So it almost feels like the inner thighs, the thighs are rolling in towards each other. You might even splay the feet a little bit. And then the sternum is moving forward towards the fingertips. Good. Your head is above the heart wherever you are. I'm using the forearm just to come off the wrist for a moment, right? Exhale and curl in. Shifting your weight a little forward, so either into the wrists or into the shoulders if your elbows are on the ground. Inhale, tip the pelvis forward and scooch those hips back a little bit as you lift the heart. So stretch down through the elbows, but lift the heart. Good. Exhale. You can take a full breath instead of rounding on the exhale and extending on the inhale. So it's going to be a little slower, right? Inhale forward, exhale, root through the elbows and lift and curl in. Inhale, transition back, and exhale, lift the heart. Good. One more time. Beautiful. And then we're going to make our way into downward facing dog. So hands under the shoulders, tuck your toes. Let's kind of take the hips back first for a moment. Just kind of get some flexion in the toes if that works for you. Watch that lower back, so get that lift in the belly. And then you can drive down through the feet. Ball of the foot rooting down, sacrum center back of the hips, lifting to the sky. A lot of times you'll hear the instruction, lift your sitting bones, but I think that can really pull too much into the kidneys, into the lower back. Good. And if you have the capacity to do so, lower the heels. Otherwise, just kind of pedal out the legs really slowly. One heel comes down, lift it, knees bent, and then extend the other leg, kneecap lifts as the heel lowers. Good. And we'll just alternate a few times. Otherwise, just kind of lower both heels towards the floor and see if you can just hold or sustain your downward facing dog, really focusing in on the breath. Sacrum up, heel down. Good. Inhale, lots of energy in the arms. Exhale. Good. One more deep breath in. Maybe both heels lower to the floor at this point. Towards the floor. They don't have to touch. Took me years to get here with the heels come down. My heels used to be way up here. So over time, right? Practice, practice, practice. And then inhale, let's take the gaze forward. Deep breath in. We're going to gently saunter the feet towards the hands. So work with your blocks as needed. Good. You have the chair here. Inhale, half lift. I like having the heels slightly elevated here with the weight in the ball of the foot. Good. Exhale, bow. You can take your ragdoll pose, soften the knees, drop the hips a little bit, lift the heart, and slide your navel all the way out towards the knees and drape the chest around the thighs, let the head go. So this is your ragdoll pose. Eventually you can start to shift and move into a version of Uttanasana. Good, where I'm just keeping the arms crossed, hand to opposite elbow, and then step into the heel. Again, as you root through the heel, see if you can take that earth energy, send it up. As you root through the feet, send it up the legs, kneecaps pulling up, 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 to the extent that they can. So you want to engage the thighs to support this stretch in the hamstrings. Good, and gravity is going to take the spine, right? Use the weight of the head to release the neck and take the spine down towards the earth. So wherever you are, ragdoll pose, Uttanasana, maybe using the chair, elbows on the chair, hands rest or forehead resting on the chair. Gently find that sense of release. Use the breath to guide the actions of the body that help to sustain your posture. So heels rooting down, kneecaps lifting up if you're straightening the legs. Exhale, release. And then inhale, let's lift the head. You can walk the hands to the seat of the chair, lift the heart. Good. Exhale, navel, ribcage lift. Good. Breathing in, extended forward bend. Exhale, soften the knees, and then root to rise. Maybe you reach the arms to the sky, lift the gaze. I'm going to keep the arms about shoulder distance apart. Reach and lift. Reach the little fingers towards the sky and the thumb tips, the gaze. Good. Arms fall into the shoulders, and then it's the heart that rises as the heels root. Good. Tailbone pressing forward, navel, ribcage drawing back. Oh, one more breath. Hands can come together and draw the hands to the heart. Gathering consciousness, internal speech, and taking the seat of experiential intelligence at the heart. Anahata. Breathe in. Good. Breathe out. So we're going to come into a little balancing here. Bring your right foot up on the seat of the chair. So you can do this without the chair, right? You can also just interlace the fingers, step into that standing heel, left heel, and push the right shin bone into the hands. And then exhale the navel, the ribcage back, strengthening that standing leg. Good. Breathing in. We're going to take this into a twist. So with the chair, this is a standing version Marchasana. So another twisting pose. So if you're not working with the chair, you're going to keep the left hand, shin bone pressing into the left hand. Take the right hand to your sacrum, and you're going to press on the right side of the pelvis. Good. Keep the right hip rolling forward as you twist the torso. Good. Over to the other side. So if you're working with right foot on the seat of the chair, the hand can come to the outside of the leg, just like we did sitting. Good. Knee, outer thigh, pressing into the hand. Right hand to the sacrum. You want to keep the right hip rolling forward, and you're going to rotate through the torso. Good. So here's what you want to try to avoid is pushing the hips forward. A lot of times we do that so we don't fall back. See if you can get that sense of uprightness. Rotating and rolling around your central axis. And then you can extend that right arm. Gaze beyond the middle. This just gives you a sense of gazing direction. Breathe in. Whatever you're doing, this is a balanced position. I can still feel the work of that standing leg, really trying to stabilize and anchor my posture. And take a deep breath in. Exhale, release, come back to center. If you're holding onto the leg with both hands or with that left hand, lower the foot. Good, and we're gonna take that foot, we're gonna still stand on the left leg. Take the foot, push it out behind you, take the hands to the seat of the chair. Good, I'm bending that standing leg to begin with. Step into the heel and extend that right leg out behind you. This is your warrior 3 position. So I really like the chair for this one because you can use the lift, you can use gravity to work the hamstrings, the back of that, right leg. The right leg is extending, the left heel is grounding, and the heart is rising. Good, I'm rooting through the heel of my hand, broadening the collarbones, gaze off the tip of the nose. Take a deep breath in. So you have extension in the spine, power in the leg, extension that right leg. Good, exhale, lift through the lower belly. And then soften your front leg, and we're going to take that back leg down towards the floor. Dial the toes out to about is the right foot, right? So you're turning the toes out to about, 1 or 2 o'clock on the clock, right? And you want to try to square the hips. So roll or dial that right hip forward. Left foot is forward, right leg is back. Take a deep breath in. This is Parshvottanasana. You're going to get the stretch to the outer left thigh hip. We're opening up this whole left side first. So I'm going to take my just walk your hands down a little bit, but I'm going to take my forearms to the seat of the chair, let the head release. You want to make sure, right, so there's a little release of the tailbone, a little tipping back of the pelvis to support the hamstrings on that left side. Breathe in. I'm working with the abdomen here. So actively engaging the abdomen, the lower belly rising, the navel rising like a bubble in the belly, and then lower ribs pulling into the body. So there's a broadening of my back as I'm curling in towards that left knee. One more deep breath in. Beautiful. Exhale. Inhale. Bend that front leg. Take the hands to the seat of the chair. See if you can lift the abdomen off the front thigh. And just step the back foot in. Extend the spine, deep breath in. Good. Exhale, bow. So this is where you can use the head on the chair, really nice. Root to rise. Arms to the sky, lift the gaze. Bring the palms together And draw the hands down the midline to the heart. Release the arms. Breathe in. Left foot steps to the seat of the chair. So we're going to really ground and anchor through this right leg. Make sure the leg is rolling in. Sometimes the toes kind of turn out and we start to sink into the hip. So turn the toes in. Good. Broaden through the foot. Right foot, step into the heel. Those of us, you won't see on my body, but sometimes if we lock the knee actually starts to push back. When you hyperextend the knee, so you're not really engaging the thigh, you're just pushing into the knee joint, you can tell because when you lock the knee, you also sink into this right hip. So when you step into the heel, see if you can pull up on the knee. You're going to start to feel the hamstrings working and the thighs working, right? See if you can press, release the sacral ligaments, and then draw the navel, draw the rib cage into the body. Good. And then you have your balance position if you want to bring that left leg up, foot off the chair for a little balance, pressing the shin bone into the hands. And then we're going to switch. Just keep the right hand, shin bone pressing into the right hand. Good. Use the chairs there, right? It's nice. And take the heel of your left hand to the left side of your pelvis. And we're going to start to build that rotation over to the left. Good. Breathe in. So the right leg is doing a lot of work. I'm going to take the leg down so that I can really stabilize the leg. I'm not relying on the chair so much, but it really allows me to power up this right leg, feel into the rotation, and then maybe take that left arm and extend it. Breathe in, gaze beyond the left fingertips. Be very conscious of your standing leg. Breathe in. It's still a balance pose. We're still on one leg. One more deep breath in. Strengthen, right, the breathing with your twist. And then gently come back to center. Really nice. Lower that left foot either to the seat of the chair. Good. Or as you bend your standing leg, we're going to take that left leg back and switch to 2 blocks or seat of chair. I'm bending the standing leg. I want to tip the pelvis a little forward, right? So, but I don't want to sink into the right hip. Difference. So step into your heel, lift through the belly, tip the pelvis forward. We did this when we crossed the legs and hinged forward. And then slowly extend both legs. So I'm going to press into that right heel, the standing leg, and extend out through the ball of the left big toe as I reach out through that back leg. Use the hands to roll the thigh in so the toes are pointing down. You can stretch and extend the toes if you'd like to. I find that very helpful to feel the extension of the knee. And then lift that left leg as you lift the heart, gaze off the tip of the nose. And breathe. A lot of power in this standing leg. This is all grounding work. Good. In a world that's very unpredictable, very chaotic, messy, this is where we ground within ourselves through our bodies. One more deep breath in. Stay with the breath. Don't stop breathing. Just because you're sustaining the pose and the action, looking in, breathe. Exhale, gently lower that back foot to the floor so you can soften the front knee. Turn the toes out to about 10 or 11 o'clock. And then draw the heel down towards the floor and roll that right hip back. So right leg is forward. Inhale, I'm going to tip my pelvis a little forward. Relax or soften the tailbone. So scoop or release the tailbone down towards the floor. And then hinge from the hips to lower the forearms to your chair. Good. Exhale. So I want to, if you're pulling the tailbone or the sits bones up, you're going to start to pull on the right hamstrings. So release the tailbone. The hips are square here. Try to get a sense of where the hips are in space. Inhale. And this is where you're going to contract through the abdomen. Step into the front of the front heel. Good. The arch side of the heel of that front foot. Lift the kneecap. Engage the navel. Retract the ribs and curl in. Right? So you can also, you're kind of releasing the head. Don't pull on the neck, but you're releasing the head towards the knee of that front leg. Breathe in. Exhale. One more breath. Billow the back. Engage the abdomen. Exhale, stretch. And inhale, lift the gaze. Good. Exhale, lift the heart. Good. Soften that front knee and step the back foot in. Beautiful. Breathe in. Exhale. You can soften those knees. And then root to rise, arms to the sky. Beautiful. And exhale, let's just take the arms down to your sides here. Let's step out to the side. So following the long edge of your mat, feel free to move the chair if you'd like to in front of you. We're just going to take an expanded leg stretch. So toes are pointing forward. Good, thighs are dialing in. I'm rolling to the instep of the foot. Good, and then I'm going to widen through the ball of the foot. So the weight's on the inner heel, but I'm going to stretch towards the little toes. And what that does is it creates some space in the pelvis while supporting and grounding the pelvis. And then we're going to tip that pelvis forward and hinge forward. So this is where it's really nice to have the seat of the chair. You can also work with your blocks. So I have a block in front of me, and I want to shift the weight into the ball of the foot. We're just going to come forward and back a few times. Inhale forward, exhale. Now I'm going to shift the weight into my heels, and I'm stretching the hips back. Shift the weight forward into the ball of the foot, into the arms. Exhale, shift the weight back. Keep pulling up on the kneecaps, especially when you go back. You're going to feel the hamstrings a little bit more in the groins, the inner thighs. Now shift the weight forward, take the heart forward. You're going to feel the arms working here to lift as you bear more weight into the arms. Prepares you for handstands. Exhale back. Good. And last time, inhale, shift the weight forward. Good. This time start to walk the hands forward, either on your chair, walk the block forward, and then keeping the hands forward. This is like, I call this an expanded downward dog. Exhale, pull up on those kneecaps, widen through the ball of the foot, and stretch back through the hips. So you get a really nice stretch in the spine here, traction in the spine. Again, try not to sink into the kidneys, right? That's going to really, you're going to feel that in the hamstring. See if you can lift and draw into the belly, release, and drop the head, and breathe. Good, exhale, engage the abdomen. Inhale, lift the gaze. Good. From here, walk the hands back in, toe heel the feet in. We're going to come into Mandalasana first. So this is a yogic squat with so Mandalasana, the feet are hip distance apart, different from Pashasana, which are feet together. And we're going to lower the heels down towards the floor. Beautiful. Good. So take a deep breath in, right? So I have my heels are slightly elevated on my blanket. I always have a blanket here now. Good. Feet are about hip distance apart, turning out slightly, again, to support the knees turning out. And then I'm going to press, try to get, so come forward onto your forearms. This is where having maybe a block is really helpful too. I'm going to come forward on my forearms a little bit and see if I can draw the hips back, heels down, and then sink or weight the sits bones. Really engage the abdomen here. And then like this, you can pull the knees in behind the shoulders maybe, hands together, and then lift the sternum. So you've got this beautiful stretch for the back, but it does require going into the hips. If this doesn't work for the knees, you're just going to lower the hips all the way down to the floor. Good, right? Like so. And step the feet out. And you can do the same thing where you kind of press those legs into the back of the arms or shoulders. And then you're lifting the sternum. You're not trying to pull into the back. You're lifting the sternum. So really deep stretch in the back body as you draw into the abdomen. Lifting the heart. Exhale, one more breath. Nice. Good. And then this will all lower the hips down towards the floor. So let's bring the feet together for Baddha Konasana. I'm going to bring the feet in closer to me, or the hips closer to my feet. So the hips are elevated, my feet are not. And then just circle out the pelvis a little bit here. Good. So just a little release through the hips. Nice. We're going to get into the hips a little bit more. Good. So the last part of the practice is really kind of anchoring the hips, putting it all together. Good. Did you reverse the roll? Yeah, if you didn't, just reverse the roll. Nice. And then come back to center. Inhale, lift up nice and tall. Anyone who wants to, you're going to get into the hips by hinging forward, taking the navel towards your heels. If you can, you're either holding onto the knees, right? As you take the navel towards the heels, make sure you're not straining with the neck. So you're hinging from the hips. That tells you where to stop, where to pause, right? And then you're just breathing. Good. Then as you exhale, lift the navel, retract the ribs, engage the abdomen to draw the torso. You're not just rounding, you're engaging the abdomen to draw yourself down. Good. You're not pulling on the back, you're supporting the back. And then root through the feet. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, navel to spine, and come back up to an upright position. Good. Step the feet about hip distance apart. And we're going to start by taking that right outer heel to left thigh. Nice. And you can, so feel free to do this on your back. If you want to have a more restorative practice, just lower your back to the earth. Nice grounding for the central nervous system. Otherwise, we're going to take these hip stretches, right? So right foot, right heel on top of left thigh, just above the knee. We're going to take these stretches sitting. So let's walk the hands in towards the hips. I'm using my fingertips, but feel free to just bring the hands flat, right? And you're going to lift and bring the torso. So I want the pelvis, I want to try to shift the weight towards my sits bones. Good. And then lift the heart. If you feel like you can bring the hips closer to the heels, right, you're going to shift your hips forward. Left sitting bone towards the left heel. Very nice. You can stay right here. You can also curl in. Take that left arm around the left leg, the right arm around the right leg, elbow around the knees. Good. And then I'm just clasping the fingers, interlacing, and drawing myself in. This is a pretty deep stretch. You're going to feel this in that right side. It's widening the right side, stretching the left back, right hip. Breathe in. Beautiful. Exhale. Take the hands back. Walk the hands back. We're going to take our reverse table pose with one leg. So take the hips closer to that left leg. Left foot can step in towards the midline a little bit, and then step into the heel and lift. This stabilizes the sacrum. Breathe in. Exhale. Step into that left heel, lift the sacrum. Press the right heel, right foot on that left thigh. One more deep breath in. This is intense because it's just one-sided. And lower all the way down. Really nice. Good. And then from here you have a couple of options. One is you can slide that left foot underneath the right knee. And now you're in Agni Shtambasana. So hip opener. The other one is going to be left foot stays where it is, and you take that right leg internally rotated, good, and press the foot into the hands. And this can feel really nice as well, right? Press through the ball of the foot, good. Inhale, lift the heart. And let's just stay. You can also extend that left leg, you can lift it. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Good. Exhale, navel, rib cage in towards the spine. So if you're coming over your crossed legs, you're engaging the abdomen. If you're bringing that right leg up, you're engaging the abdomen to curl in. Get that little hamstring stretch, and then gently release and come up to an upright position. We're going to switch sides, right? Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let's tip the pelvis towards the sits bones, lift the heart. Good. Take a deep breath in. So we'll start with the left foot on top of right. Slide the hips closer to the right heel. Walk the hands in. And again, just get as close as you can. Beautiful. Wrapping that right arm around the right knee. Left arm either around the left knee or above and over. Take a deep breath in. Lift the heart. So we're going to feel into that left hip a little bit. Get a stretch in the right side of your back. Engage the abdomen. One more breath. So if you can really breathe into the sensation, send the awareness with the breath into the place of sensation in your body. Exhale, draw the navel, draw the lower ribs towards the spine. Walk the hands back. We're going to take our reverse table pose here. Good. Breathing in, you're going to slide your hips towards that front heel. Set up your arms again so the elbows are drawing in a little bit. You're broadening the chest but without popping the rib cage. Good. Step into the right heel and lift the hips. Let's hold. Breathe in. Root through the heel. Exhale, lift. One more breath. Strengthening the back of the right leg, hamstrings, glute muscles, and the abdomen. And lower down. Woo! Good. Again, you have an option here to slide that right heel under left leg, so you're coming into this double, I think we call it double pigeon fire log pose, where you're stacking the legs, right? So if you work in this variation, you are going to feel this usually across and around the outer hips as you come forward. Use your chair, use the blocks, right? And then the other option is to keep the right leg where it is and extend that left leg, which feels really good as well. So this is just a variation of crown chest. And let's take a deep breath in. Nice. Exhale. Pressing through the ball of the foot. Exhale, engage the abdomen. Maybe the leg and the torso can come a little closer together. Draw the navel, draw the rib cage into the body. You want to power the abdomen, so conscious engaging of the abdomen to support release in the back without compression in the spine. And one more breath. Good. Exhale, gently release. Good. You can stretch that left leg all the way down, pull yourself all the way up, extend the legs out in front of you, and now we're going to recline. You can turn around, put your legs up on the chair if you'd like to. And as you roll down, I just wanted to start by windshield wiping the leg side to side. Right, once you're down on the floor, just tipping the pelvis, and this is another way to kind of release tension in the hips, finding rotational movement. Watch the knees here. Good. And just massaging the sacrum across the back of the hips. You might lower the knees to one side. Good. If I lower the knees over to the right, my right heel comes to the outer left thigh, and I'm anchoring through the inner back heel, inner left heel. And as I tip the pelvis to the right, I want to keep the shoulders on the floor, and it just gives me some traction around all this dense myofascial tissue around the pelvis, the hips, right, the lower abdomen. Good. Try not to pop the rib cage. Crank into the kidney. So soften the rib cage, weight to that left leg. I'm not pushing on the knee, very important. Lift, switch sides. So I'm just taking the knees over to the left. Now the left heel comes above the right, outer right thigh above the knee. And I'm stepping into the inner back heel to support and stabilize the knee. Good. The internal rotation of the back leg. And again, both shoulders stay on the floor, so there's a little twist of the pelvis here relative to the torso, and you can get into that right hip a little bit. Breathe into this. It's short duration just because the knee tends to be a little bit more compromised. Lift the knees. Beautiful. And a couple of options. One is you can take legs up the wall, legs up on your chair, legs up towards the sky. My sacrum has a tiny bit of height underneath it. You can even put more height if you'd like to, right underneath the sacrum. So the pelvis is tipping a little forward. Sacrum has support. Lower back is in a natural curve. Upper back, shoulders, head are supported. Just really lovely for releasing all the metabolites that the body releases in our practice, right? Part of moving the body in the ways that we do with these yoga poses, right, is to release waste from the tissues of the body, right? Especially when we get into the joints and the connective tissues and all the dense fascial tissues, right? And then, moving, the movement is what lymph flow is all based on movement, right? Vascular flow depends a lot on the heart. But lymph flow, we need to move. So here we're working with gravity to invite lymph to release, just the waste metabolites from the cells, tissues of our feet, down through the legs, through the hips to the liver, our organ of detoxification. And then if you'd like to just find or meet yourself in Shavasana, we're just going to lower the legs slowly to the earth. I like to then take my roll or blocks or blanket under the thighs, so the sacrum is on the floor, the heels of my feet are on the floor, the back of the heart is on the floor, the head is on the floor, right? Really important contact points, and the back of the hands. All H. Head, heart, hands, hips, sacrum, and heels of feet. Close the eyes. Let your body rest. Lean back. Relax the breathing. Let your attention just circulate inside for a moment, noticing perhaps where there is still some holding inside the body, what we often refer to as tension or resistance or boundness, tightness, knotting. So notice, breathe into that, and the exhalation is like, can I let go? Can I let gravity do the work? This is leaning into trust, right? We have to build trust in our bodies first. We have to kind of earn our own trust. So the body learns to let go because it knows it's being held. What does it feel like when your body releases? When it softens and when you can really lean back into the earth? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel light? Do you feel expanded? Do you feel shapeless, formless? Do you feel like you're merging with the space around you? Or maybe sinking into the ground beneath you? Or rising into the air above and around you? Ready, feel free to just stay here, rest. I'm going to close out our practice this morning, so if you'd like to come to sitting, just very gently make your way into fetal position, stepping the feet in towards the hips, and then rolling onto one side, and grounding through that top hand to press up. With our closing mantra, the Mangala mantra. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena magena mahi mahishaha gubrahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam lokasamastaha sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyaha prithvi sasya shalani deshoyam shubharahito brahmana santu nirabhayaha. Om shanti shanti shantihi. May all be well with this world. May we lead by keeping to the right path. May we honor and heal humanity, that all beings everywhere may find freedom from pain and suffering. May we know this earth to be sacred, that she may yield her fruit in abundance. May this world be free from exploitation and oppression, that the righteous may be free from hatred and fear. Peace, peace, peace. This is our prayer, our offering. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate you guys.